one of my most recent trips to the Tampa area, I had a full day to spend with a dear friend Shelby at Segrist Farms and her 2 daughters, and we went to the Tampa Zoo at Lowry Park. It's truly an incredible zoo with an incredible diverse collection of animals from around the world. More than 1,300 animals call the Tampa Zoo home. With its very well designed and appointed enclosures, it provides the animals with an extremely high quality of life, all the while allowing visitors a view into their incredible world. Now, the Tampa Zoo at Lowry Park is honestly an incredible zoo. All their enclosures are absolutely impeccable, the animals are in top notch, and seem to be absolutely thriving and enjoying their life in captivity. And for some of these species, like the orangutans here, they don't have much of a life outside of these zoos now. It's sad. But these beautiful enclosures, providing lots of enrichment, these are different types of treats that they provide to them in these pillowcases. They have to undo them to access the treats and stuff. Gives all the visitors an opportunity to see how incredible these animals truly are. That beautiful male, the troop leader. Now, you'll notice that I've taken out almost all the audio, and I'm going to narrate it for you, because I'm sure you can imagine in this type of an environment there is a lot of background noise. Here's a true highlight. Varanus komodoensis, the largest lizard in the world, from the island of Komodo in Indonesia. These animals are protected on their island. However, many zoos the world over, well-regarded zoos, are keeping these animals and ensuring their survival. Captive breeding projects. But to see one of these close up is truly impressive. And the collection of primates they have, most of which I've never even heard of before. On these incredible enclosures, lots of enrichment. Being in Florida, all the botanicals, the plants, the palm trees, the speed of growth of some of these trees transports you to an entirely different world. Schmidt's red tail. I believe this one was sleeping. There he is. One you normally see, a mandrill. Now, they are fairly far back in the enclosure, but the males develop those incredibly intense, colorful faces. Another true highlight for me to see. Gives you an idea what the males look like. And there's a male and female, the female being the smaller one in front. These primates have incredibly large canine teeth. And even the backgrounds, these different types of settings. Look at that beautiful Philodendron saloon and all these beautiful tropical plants. These are macaques. There's a nice young female. I think there's a really impressive male coming up here. Yeah, there's the boss right there. And he defends everybody and takes care of his troops. And being at a zoo, sometimes you see things that you just may not want to see. But it's all part of the experience, all part of nature. This.
They gotta go somewhere.
It's going in the video.
I mean, like the tongue.
And I'm done.
Now you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of birds, but lorikeets and some of these different types of smaller parrots are pretty incredible to see. Now there was a large collection of different types of birds in different areas, but this particular lorikeet or conure type habitat they had is truly a cowed favorite. And they are everywhere within this aviary. Just striking animals. Malaysian sun bear. Looks very similar to our black bear with a much thinner coat so it can tolerate the warmer. And there's a true highlight. Indian gharials. Probably without question the most unique of all the crocodilians. A specialized fish eater with that long, thin nose with many, many teeth. It's probably a male trying to push over on a female. Look at how incredibly specialized that nose is, or rostrum. Critically endangered species, so it's very thankful that these animals are in some of these collections in some of these zoos worldwide to ensure their survival. Different turtle species, and a bitterong, a rather unique animal in a monotypic genus, also known as the bear cat, from South and Southeast Asia. This unique animal is a babirusa. It's a type of pig from the islands in Indonesia of Sulawesi, adapted to live in that very warm climate. One thing unique about the zoo is that they have a feeding rhino section where guests can pay to come right behind the scenes and feed the Indian rhinos. Very, very impressive animals. All done very safely. A truly one-on-one encounter. Without question, the absolute top highlight for me, as it is with most zoos, is what I'd call the reptile house, the snake house, fish house. This one here highlights a lot of the unique animals that you'll find in southern Florida, like the dusky pygmy rattlesnake, eastern diamondback rattlesnake, coral snakes, or the canebrake rattlesnake. Some incredible animals to be seen here in these very, very beautiful, well-appointed habitats. That's the coral snake habitat up top there. We'll take a peek at them in a second. But the southern wide-band copperhead snake, absolutely a favorite. There's that beautiful coral snake. Dusky pygmy rattlesnake. It's a smaller or dwarf species. This one's just a neonate. Doesn't only has a button. Doesn't even have any of its rattles yet. The Florida cottonmouth, probably without question the most common snake that you will probably find, related to the copperhead. And the largest of all the crotalids or rattlesnakes, the eastern diamondback rattlesnake. These things can get up to be 9 feet. Just look at that incredible enclosure. Very, very unique. Very different patterning than the western. And this is an absolute monster of a canebrake rattlesnake. Look at the length of that rattle. That is an impressive animal. Now this is a highlight as well. This is the true eastern indigo snake. This is a non-venomous colubrid, but is highly endangered. And this zoo is using a captive breeding project to try and bring this species back. But look at the way these habitats are designed. The entire structure of this house, I guess we can call it, is all very themed. Here's some native species of gar. These are fish that have been around since the time of the dinosaurs. So you have the Florida spotted gar, and directly behind it, we have an alligator gar, which can get to be 9 feet in length. But look at the shape of those scales. Those diamond-shaped plated scales are heavily armored. They are called ganoid scales, and they protect the fish. Very, very unique, primitive fish. Now, one other thing that is very, very unique to this particular zoo is that they do a lot of work with manatees and manatee rehabilitation. So this is the overview from one of the settings where they have several different settings where you can see the manatees in different sections where they'll isolate them and treat them. They have veterinarians on staff all the time, and they'll rehabilitate the animals and get them back out into the wild. But you can see those observational windows, and you can go underneath and see them from head on. One of the unique turtle species native to Florida in the same environment. Just incredible to see. I believe the carapace was probably 14-15 inches in length. Not certain on the species. yellow spotted turtle, perhaps, denoting those yellow spots on the head. But if you know, leave me a note in the comments. And there's from one of the viewing windows underground. These incredibly large mammals consume vast amounts of vegetation. So they need incredibly high efficiency filtration to maintain their water quality. Florida panthers, we call them cougars, mountain lions, all the same animal. There's Walter. A very uncommon animal to see not only in zoos, but even in the wild. Generally solitary in nature and very reclusive. Now in the Asian section, they also had this animal. And I believe this is the first time I've seen a tapir outside of the only other zoo I've ever remember seeing one would be in Berlin, which had an incredible collection as well. But it's nice to see that they have mostly animals that highlight animals that would live in this type of a climate. You don't see a lot of Arctic type animals in these environments. And in their African section, they had elephants, giraffes. Most of those animals were fairly far back. But this African crested porcupine, very impressive to see close up. Don't think I'd want to touch it, but very impressive to see close up. So bear in mind, these are just my highlights of some of the things. I could put together an 1.5-hour video of all these incredible animals that we saw, like the amount of footage I have of different types of birds and so forth. But I want to leave some mystery for you to go and see the Tampa Zoo at Lowry Park yourself and see all these incredible animals close up. All the different types of deer and gazelles. And they're in there providing different forms of nutrition, different forms of enrichment, branches and leaves of different types. Cleaning up their enclosures is a daily task to maintain the health and integrity of these animals that we are all entrusted to care for. A little tiny short-haired deer. Now, the African elephant habitat was extremely large and had several different paddocks, but that's about as close as they ever came to me to be able to shoot you any good quality video footage. And one of the African rhinoceros species, different from the Indian species that we saw with where you could feed them. These ones are nice to see. A rhinoceros with its horns still intact. They are all so critically endangered in the wild, due solely to poaching for Chinese medicine trade. I could sit here and stare at some of these unique animals for hours. And towards the end, Red River hog. What a unique looking pig. I believe they're going to come out here and we can see them a little bit better close up. They are very unique. So, these were some of the absolute highlights for me. If you're ever in the Tampa area, this is definitely a must-see destination. I had an absolute blast with my dear friend Shelby and her two incredible daughters. They made truly the experience of seeing the zoo, their passions. They taught me a lot of stuff, and it was overall an incredibly wonderful day. So thank you, my friends. Thank you to you, my viewers, for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me a comment, let you know which animals you thought were the best. Till next time, take care.